Welcome into Rover Sports tonight. It is April 20th today, and the NFL schedule was released yesterday by the National Football League, and I am so incredibly excited. There's a lot of people that look at the schedule, and these people are lame, people that say, oh, you can look at the schedule, but you shouldn't be predicting games that can happen in 8 months. Well, those people are no fun, and they're not as creative, and what we have to work with here is we have a full slate of games to work with, and it's time that we dive into this. I'm going to be doing a series of teams, especially teams that my viewers like, but first I'm going to be a little bit selfish and do my favorite team, which is the New York Football Giants, and I'm here right now, and I am going to pull up the entire schedule for the New York Giants. Okay, and I've looked at this schedule before, and now I am going to live on the air. I'm going to tell you where wins and losses are. I'm going to tell you where the most difficult part of the schedule is, but I am also going to tell you what I like about the schedule and what I don't like. So let's get right to it. The first game of the schedule is against the AFC runner-ups. The Jacksonville Jaguars go to MetLife. It's a 1 o'clock game. It's on Sunday. Giants are put in the mix with everybody else. We're not on Sunday Night Football. We're not playing the Dallas Cowboys. That's going to be in week 2, but usually it's week 1. And if you go back to the New York Giants, and I could try to pull up a statistic right now, Giants record versus Cowboys opening day record. I want to see if we can put this right here. So when we look at the 2000s, okay, 2010, Giants won at the Cowboys 2 years in a row. But then in September 5th, we had the Cowboys winning, back to when Tony Romo was quarterbacking. The Dallas Cowboys, I mean, they pretty much whipped us. I also remember that game 45-35 with Des Bryant and Tony Romo, or I can go back a long, long ways. What I was going to say, I'm getting off track and I apologize. What I'm going to say about this schedule is that the first game versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Giants, I believe that game in Vegas is going to come out. It's Blake Bortles. It's Leonard Fournette. It's Jacksonville. It is Marquise Lee, D.D. Westbrook. And aging, I don't believe Mercedes Lewis is really going to play for them anymore. They're probably going to draft a new middle linebacker because Puzleski is out. And they are also going to upgrade the tight end position. They might even draft a quarterback in the first round that would make Blake Bortles compete. The New York Giants and this defense, it's going to be loud at MetLife Stadium, the first game of the Pat Shurmur era. The New York Giants are going to try to get to Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles lost to the 49ers. He even lost, I believe, to the Arizona Cardinals last year. The Jacksonville Jaguars on the road last year, they were vulnerable. They lost to the Tennessee Titans. They got swept on the road. They are not a good road team. They went to Pittsburgh and had one really good game, and then they played a crappy Buffalo team in the playoffs. The Jacksonville Jaguars, to me, are just like the Rex Ryan New York Jets. A talented defense, a poor quarterback in Blake Bortles that I don't see being the guy there in 3 years. Blake Bortles is Mark Sanchez, and I believe the Giants have a really good chance to come on out and get a win. I believe Jacksonville will maybe be a 2-point favorite. It will go down to a 1-point favorite at game time. The Giants will be no less than a 1-point dog at home hosting the Jaguars. I believe the Giants can win that game. Then you look at the next game, going to Dallas, a place that's kind of been the house of horrors for the New York Giants. Other than, you remember that game where Eli, back of the end zone, wasted the clock. Giants blew a game a couple of years ago. Romo went down the field, hit Jason Witten for the touchdown to win the football game. You guys remember that. You also remember the Giants beating Dallas because Terrence Williams couldn't step out of bounds correctly. That was a 4-15 game. Anyway, Giants going to Dallas, not a lot of success, but this Dallas team isn't great. I believe the Giants can go and compete there. I'm not tremendously afraid of the Dallas Cowboys. Bottom line is I expect the Giants to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags aren't going to put a lot of points on the Giants. Then we're going to go to Dallas. It's going to be a tough game. We're going to learn a lot. This game I'm horrified of. Week 3 at the Houston Texans, 1 o'clock. We're going to be dead tired. I believe that we are going to fly home from Dallas, though. I don't think we're going to stay in Texas all week long. It's not too far of a drive back home, or a flight back home, I should say. Deshaun Watson, Clowney, Fuller, Lamar Miller, DeAndre Hopkins. It's going to be a very dangerous game. Zach Cunningham. I believe that the Houston Texans are a very good team under Rick Smith there. And against Deshaun Watson, that's going to be a tough game to win. Now, what I am going to say about the schedule is that the New York Giants, we're going to learn a lot about this football team through this stretch. So the Giants go to the Texans. They didn't have a winnable game at home versus the Saints. So probably through the first 3 games, I look at the Texans game as a dead loss. I look at Jacksonville as a game that the Giants should probably win. And I look at that Dallas game and think that the Giants are probably going to lose to Dallas close. That game's like a 55-45 sort of deal. The Cowboys, if the Giants beat Jacksonville like I think, the Cowboys will probably be a 2-point favorite at home, maybe 3 points. Hopefully, Carolina can play physical versus them. But we're going to learn a lot about Dallas also in their Carolina game to start off the season. So, preferably, I'd like to go 2-0 and then drop to the Texans, be 2-1. That would be very preferable. Then we come home to the Saints. I look at this game versus the Saints. At least it's at home. We have a decent chance of winning the game. We got to get after Drew Brees. It's going to be a very difficult ball game. And again, this is one of the best teams in the NFC. They're having to come up here for a 425 game. Hopefully, we will be juiced. The bottom line is if the Giants don't beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, though, in Week 1, we're looking at the Cowboys and at the Texans. If the Giants go 0-2, if they lose to Jacksonville and Dallas, that game against Houston I am not comfortable with. This season could be freaking over by the end of September. That would be the worst nightmare as a football fan. I've lived through those seasons. Those seasons are complete hell when you are done football and you're eliminated from postseason contention. You do not want to go 0-4. You do not want a disaster. There are no moral victories. Eli is old. I expect the Giants to compete and win. There's too much talent here. So you have the Saints at home. You have at Carolina, which is a very difficult game. Again, these games, there's no cupcakes on the schedule. You then have the Eagles and at the Falcons. So you have 7 weeks. And then the Redskins at home. The New York Giants need to be 3-4. They need to be 4-4 going into their bye week. So let's pick the Giants' wins out of the first 7 games. Let's get Jacksonville. Let's get the Saints, so we get the home games. And then we need one more. Let's go at Carolina. I don't believe we're beating the Eagles at home, and I don't think we're beating the Falcons on the road. So that's 2 straight losses. We come home then to Washington. The one good news about the Falcons game is that the Eagles game is on October 11th, a Thursday night game. So we're going to have 11 days to prepare for Monday Night Football. So our efforts going into Atlanta might be great. If we can somehow get to 5-3, we are going to be absolutely perfect. So Jacksonville is a must-win game to start off the season. I know that you guys will criticize must-win. The Dallas game is a possible win. At Carolina or Atlanta. So I look at the Cowboys, Panthers, and Atlanta. So we go at Cowboys, at Panthers, at Falcons. At Falcons is dead loss. At Carolina or Dallas, we need one of those games. And then I look at the Saints and the Redskins. The Saints might be tough. So let's get the Jaguars, let's get Carolina and the Saints, and let's get the Redskins, and I'll go 4-4. I don't think we're beating the Eagles on Thursday night. We might beat the Falcons on Monday night. So if we're able to beat the Saints and the Panthers, and just say we lose to Dallas and the Texans, somehow the Giants need to go 4-4 or 5-3, at worst 4-4. We have a bye week, and then the Giants go to San Francisco. So the beautiful thing is the Giants have 2 Monday night games, and they have 14 days and 11 days to prepare for these 2 Monday night games. So you are going to see the worth of Pat Shurmur in his first year as a head coach in this dang league. Because that game versus a red-hot San Francisco 49ers team with Jimmy Garoppolo, one of the most prolific offenses and passers in football, going up against Robert Saleh, that's going to be an awesome test. The New York Giants going to Atlanta. Atlanta is a solid team with Dan Quinn. They won a playoff game last year. They were seconds away and really a couple of plays away from winning a world championship 2 years ago. They flat out dominated the season, the 2016 season. So the New York Giants are going to have really their work cut out for them. Going to Houston, going to Carolina, what I want to see is competitive football. I want to see the defense play well. I want to run the football against the Cowboys and the Texans. I want to score some points, be balanced on offense, but I want our defense to carry us. I want to be competitive throughout a lot of these games, and I don't want to quit. No matter what, this is a very difficult schedule. This is treacherous. There is a chance that the New York Giants, I'm just telling you with Pat Shurmur, there is a decent chance that the Giants are 3-4. And I could also see scenarios where the Giants lose. I really have them beating Jacksonville, but then they say they lose to Dallas. Houston, the Saints, and then Carolina. They're 1-4 going to play the Eagles. I could see this whole thing swirling in a totally negative direction under Pat Shurmur. So, again, in my theoretical world, let's say the Giants are 4-4. At 49ers is a dead loss. Home against Tampa Bay is a must-win, and they do, 5-5. At the Eagles, then you are 5-6. So at best, I don't think you're winning any of the Eagles games. And again, at best, you are 5-6 in Week 12. After Week 12. Then you have Chicago at the Skins, Titans at Colts and Cowboys. So that is how many games left? 5. You can win all 5 of those games coming home. That is the beautiful news. Once you hit the Bears, it is all downhill from there. I expect a sweep of the Washington Redskins. I expect the Giants to be favored in all these games coming home. And if you have to play the Cowboys and that game gets flexed there in Week 17, the Giants can hit a 5-game winning streak coming storming into the playoffs. So the beautiful news is if you somehow survive in pieces, the initial wave is going to shock Pat Shurmur. But if Shurmur can get by this first stretch of games, if he can get us to Week 12, or to Week 13, and we're staring at 5-6. We're 6-5. We are good to go to the finish line. We are a playoff team if we are 6-5. If the Giants are, let's see here, 4-7, it's over. The Giants are 5-6. You are right where you need to be, but then you have to run the table at the end. Hopefully, you could get to 6-5 somehow. And the way you get to 6-5 is you go undefeated at home, so there's 4 wins, and you beat Atlanta and maybe the Eagles. I don't think, let's look at the dead losses. At 49ers is a dead loss. At the Texans, after back-to-back games, I'm marking those as dead losses. Carolina's tough. I'd probably mark that a loss. I'm leaning towards Atlanta, because the Giants are going to have a long time to prepare for that game versus Atlanta. So I'm looking at Dallas being winnable, looking at Jacksonville being winnable, I'm looking at the Saints being very winnable, Looking at the Eagles' home game being slightly winnable, but probably not winnable. Looking at Atlanta as winnable and versus the Redskins. Then going to San Francisco, I don't believe the Giants are going to win that game. Home against the Bucs is winnable. At the Eagles is a dead loss. Chicago's a win. Redskins win. Then you are looking at 12-4, 11-5. If I just brought to you that schedule. What I think is going to happen is this. I'm going to give my unfiltered opinions right here. Jacksonville is a win, 1-0. Here it is. Here it is. The official record of the New York Giants is this. This is my projection right now. Jacksonville's a win, 1-0. Cowboys on the road. Slight loss, 1-1. At the Houston Texans, 1-2. Come home to the Saints, Drew Brees, New Orleans Saints, 2-2. At Carolina, so tough. I'm giving him a win somehow, 3-2. Eagles lost 3-3. At Atlanta, incredible effort, but they lose. Okay, incredible effort. They lose. They're 3-4. Redskins win 4-4. Niners lost 4-5. Bucks win 5-5. Eagles lost. You're still 5-6, but then they win 6-6. Redskins, Titans, Colts, Cowboys. They finish 10-6. They get either a wild card or they win the division at 10-6. Put it this way, guys. We're going to get our balls broken at points this year. It is not going to be easy. But you know what? As a Giants fan, I love it because we're going to see the mental fortitude of Patrick Shurmur. We're going to see if Shurmur can keep this team together. We are facing, in our first games, again. This is just in the first 12 games of the season. We're facing Carson Wentz twice. We're facing Cam Newton, Drew Brees, away at Matt Ryan, Alex Smith, Deshaun Watson, Jimmy Garoppolo. There is no harder stretch than the first 7 games in the NFL. We have no cupcake games. The first 7 are absolutely brutal, even the first 8. Before the bye week, if we can somehow get 4 wins, we are legit. If somehow the Giants get 3 wins and you're 3-5, you are unfortunately going to miss the playoffs because then I look at that Niners game, and if the Giants are 3-5, it's curtains. So they somehow have to get to 4 wins. That Jacksonville game, every game is crucial. There are no moral victories on this damn schedule. Put it this way. No moral victories. This is Eli's last year. Saquon's coming on this team. Again, no moral victories. Giants can get to 10-6. You got to get somehow to week 13 when you're playing the Bears, and you have to be 6-5 or 5-6 at worst. Can the Giants do that? We're going to learn so much about Pat Shurmur. He goes to Atlanta. He goes to Houston after 2 tough weeks, have the Cowboys to start off the year, have the Eagles on a primetime game. The Giants are going to be in prime time. I want to see the offense click. I want to see the offensive line progress. That's all I want to see this year. Running the football against tough defensive fronts, which you will see early in the schedule. Running the football, you know what I want to see? A real commitment to running the football. I want to see Eli stretch the passing game. With Ben McAdoo, they were all short little passes. I want to see the Giants stretch the passing game this year. That's what I want to see. The New York Giants stretch defenses out. Please, throw the ball down the field, punish defenses. I don't care if Eli's throwing picks. Punish defenses. Run the ball, punish defenses. And now on the defensive side of the ball, there's a lot of talent there. I want to see buy-in. I want to see players loving for each other, caring for each other. Want to see some exotic blitzes if possible, but I just want to see effort. I want them to stay firm. Eli Apple's going to have a huge challenge in front of him. You look at the Dallas Cowboys, they're going to be tracking out Cortland Sutton. You look at the Texans, they're going to have DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller. That's going to be tremendous. Then you're going to have Janoris covering Michael Thomas, and Eli Apple's going to have to cover Ted Ginn and the Saints, okay? And the Saints might pick somebody up. Carolina, Christian McCaffrey, a couple of dangerous guys like Funchess and whatnot. Eagles, Alshon, Nelson Aguilar. Atlanta, Julio, Sanu. It is going to be a wild, wild ride for the secondary. Great quarterback play. Great teams all over the board. The Giants have no layups. The layups come all at the end. The Titans at home. The Colts is a layup. The Bears is a layup. Redskins, Buccaneers at home. And even the Bucs might not be a layup because I have the Bucs surprising. This schedule playing the NFC South is absolutely brutal. And then when you play the AFC South, you get Jacksonville first. And you also, I believe, out of the AFC South opponents, you also have to go to this. You have the hardest two AFC South teams at the beginning of your schedule with Houston and the Jaguars. And you have to go at Houston right after Dallas, which is going to be so brutal. Then you play the Saints, the Panthers, and Eagles. You're literally going Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, Drew Brees, Cam Newton, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Alex Smith right into a bye. There is no let-up. You are not playing the Jets. You are not playing the Browns. You are not playing Denver Broncos. You are not playing Oakland. You are not playing teams with holes at all. You are not playing Buffalo. You're not playing Miami. You are not playing Arizona. You are dodging and missing opportunities. The Giants are not playing Detroit. The Giants are missing opportunities everywhere on the schedule. It is a brutal, for a last-place schedule, for the second-worst record in the NFL. This is about as bad of a draw as the Giants could have possibly gotten. And I'm staring at you guys right here in the damn face, and I'm saying that this might be a blessing in disguise because we are going to see if Pat Shurmur is the guy. We are going to see how he navigates the ship through the rough waters, which is the first 8 weeks of this NFL season. We are going to learn a lot. Because Ben McAdoo, he benefited from playing the Ravens, the Case Keenum-led Jeff Fisher Rams, Bengals, Browns, Bears. That's when the Giants hit that 6-game winning streak. That's when they went from 3 games to 9 wins. That's when they went from 3-4 to 9-4. Playing teams like Detroit at home. Detroit just fired their coach. Playing teams like the Browns. They played really, really poorly in those games, and they still won those games. But that 11-5, that was a fluky 11-5. If the Giants make the playoffs, there appears to be nothing fluky about the Giants making the playoffs this year. If they do that, then you will know Shurmur's the guy. You will know if Eli can play for this year, if he can play for next year. Bottom line, you will learn. You will know what the team needs, has its holes. It will show out like a sore thumb. There were holes everywhere last year. Let's see where Gettleman can fix it. Good night. God bless.